I find it very odd.
It meaning me. Am I in it now too? I feel honored.
For one who professes to be a warrior, I find it remarkably weak-willed and indecisive.
Thank you?
It also likes to hide its many weaknesses behind a veil of jocularity.
For a statue, you know a lot of big words.
Is there a reason it enjoys following others so much? Especially when it is in a position to lead.
Have you ever been responsible for someone else's life? Or a lot of other lives? Or an entire nation?
Of course not.
Then shut up.
I will remember this moment when the birds come.
Going.
The Swamp Witch has been looking at me oddly. Stop it, or I will crush its tiny bird-like head.
I am simply finding it difficult to believe that there is a woman inside of there.
A woman who is also a warrior, and a dwarf.
Yes, that would explain a great deal.
So it has become king after all, yes?
It looks that way.
Is this not a good thing? This is a position of importance, no? Did it not want to be king?
I didn't, but I suppose I do now.
If I were king, I would order that all birds be shot out of the sky. I would arm everyone with bows and put them on constant vigil.
Well, let's be glad you're not king then.
I suspect it thinks that would be a pointless endeavor, but it would be wrong.
Right. Just as an aside, this bird fixation? Creepy. So you've heard, I hope, how I'm going to be king, with a crown and everything.
Proud of yourself, are you?
Well, they don't let just anyone be king, you know. They don't let evil forest witches be king, for instance.
There was a Ferelden king once who drooled on himself in such volume that he required a constant attendant to wipe his chin in court.
You're making that up.
Not at all. The kings of old would be pleased to see that their bloodline has not strayed very far from its roots. Huh. Yes. So, you met this sibling of yours?
Half-sister, but yes.
And you gave the woman money?
Yes.
Why would you do such a thing? This woman is a parasite who will appreciate nothing you do. You know this.
It's moments like this when I truly appreciate the difference between you and me.
It is moments like this when I truly wonder at the difference between you and a toadstool. Oh, right.
Would the Swamp Witch consider explaining the nature of magic to me? I am most curious.
Surely there is another who would not be so bothered by your tiresome questions. Perhaps Alistair?
I fear the second warden has not the knowledge to answer my question.
You might ask him anyhow. Certainly whatever he happened to come up with would serve as amusement.
I do not understand. I seek enlightenment and not amusement.
You're apt to get much further seeking amusement, I assure you.
The Swamp Witch is a most confusing creature. I do not understand it.
You're not the first one to say so. The first golem, perhaps.
I will ask the Swamp Witch later, when it is less inclined to make bizarre responses to my queries.
You will be waiting some time then, I fear.
I would still like to know how the Swamp Witch learns its forms.
Eager, are you not? Does the golem wish to become human after all?
A human is a soft and weak form. I desire no such thing.
Then why the interest in shape-changing? Unless you secretly wish to become something other than what you are.
Is that why the Swamp Witch learned? To escape her form?
In a way. It was lonely to grow up in the wilds. To join with the forest, to become one with its denizens. There was a freedom in that.
I think it would be an excellent talent for disguises.
Or perhaps to walk through doors without hitting one's head.
Yes, exactly.
Well, 'tis not a good enough reason.
And I'm off. Yes.
Oh, blast Legion crap.
Yes.
Yes. Braska.
Yes. Vashaden.
Yes.
Huh.
These crows of yours, Zevran, are they as extraordinary as you claim?
They all but rule over my homeland. Do you find that extraordinary?
If true, are they so powerful simply because they are very good at what they do? Or is there some secret to their power?
If there were a secret, it would only remain so if it were not told, my dear.
You are no longer bound to such a code? Or do you believe their wrath will be greater than it already is, should you speak out of turn?
It may be that I simply do not wish to tell you. You get the most delightful wrinkle in your brow when you are curious.
I see. You are impossibly frustrating, you know this.
I do. It is part of my charm, or so I'm told.
Oh, right.
So let us pretend that I do, indeed, believe that murder is wrong.
We are not having this conversation.
Were I to believe such a thing, what would I do with it? Feeling guilt about things one can no longer change seems so very time-consuming, with little hope for actual gain.
But you could change what you do in the future.
What would that require exactly? It seems to me that feeling guilty would take up a great deal of my time as it is.
Perhaps you could save a life instead. One for every life you have taken.
That is a great many lives to save and feel guilty as well. Perhaps I could do one or the other.
It is not a game, Zevran. You either know right from wrong, or you do not.
I am so confused. I think I may cry. May I lay my head in your bosom?
No, no, you may not.
You're so very cruel. How is it that you do not feel guilty?
I feel guilty for ever having spoken to you.
Lost in damnation.
Yes.
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 I have thought about what you said before, Shale. About slavery.
It is profitable, so I am led to believe.
It is wrong. And it is no more right to make a slave out of a golem. I think no one understood how golems were made, Shale. Perhaps we should have suspected, but no one knew. Golems were like spells. Useful.
I am useful. I'm better than any fireball, that I'm sure of.
It's not the same thing. When this is over, I will make certain that the Circle of Magi knows the truth. Your people should not be treated as objects.
I have no people. I mentioned the slavery because I knew it would be bothered. No other reason.
But it still deserves to... You are a very perverse creature, you know this?
It almost wishes it had a control rod, no?
Huh.